Hey you guys, welcome back. The dam obviously is, I mean, you see all the power lines and things around there, and people think of, well, you know, hydro dam, you know, generates energy, power. What is that the main purpose for the Dalles Dam?
Well, yeah, a lot of people associate the Dalles Dam and all the dams on the Columbia as a power-producing dam. It is one function of the dam. It's a pretty big function. It's not the main function. I would say that all of them combined are the main function of the dam. But yeah, the Dalles Dam is what people think as a power production plant or dam. Yeah.
Okay. So how is that power measured, and like how do you store it?
Most people, when they're talking about power, you know, if you want to get real technical, there's a whole bunch of technical terms, but how we present to people is in kilowatts.
Okay.
You know, people think of watts when they put light bulbs in it.
Right.
It's kilowatts for us. The Dalles Dam, it's the sixth largest producing dam in the U.S. It's pretty big.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty big. John Day is a little bit, actually it's higher than that. John Day produces a little bit more, but at the Dalles Dam, if we're running at a top production, we can do about 2.1 million kilowatts of electricity if all of our stuff is running at once.
Wow.
As far as storing, you can't really store electricity.
Okay.
When we think of storing, our storage is the water behind it. That's our renewable resources. That's what we're storing behind it.
Okay.
When we produce power, it's because people need it at that time. Usually, you know, when people come home around 5, 6 o'clock, they start cooking dinner, they're doing a little bit of laundry, they're watching TV, relaxing. That's the biggest time of the day. I mean, that's when the most power is being produced all across the world, actually, is right after people are getting home from work. So that's when we start up a lot of our generators and push the power to the people. But as far as storing it, can't really store electricity.
Okay, so it's not like big batteries, for instance.
Right.
It's when you need it, somehow you guys are able to monitor that, and then you just like pass more water through the spillways.
Yeah, exactly. We're told when power is needed.
Okay.
So the Bonneville Power Administration will call us and say, hey, we need some more on the grid or take some off the grid. And we can either turn up the generators, turn them down, turn them off, turn them on. So we're the people that produce it. We're the ones that kind of regulate it when it gets onto the grid. But BPA tells us when to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the grid, what exactly does that mean geographically?
Yeah, when we produce the power, it goes on to the BPA grid. And then they distribute it out to wherever it needs to be.
Okay.
Most of it's here in the Northwest and on the West Coast. The Dalles Dam and these ones on the Columbia support, you know, Washington, Oregon, some of California. I know BPA's line has a direct line to like Los Angeles, where they need electricity. Nevada, Montana, and parts of Colorado, actually, we send power that way too.
Okay, and is it seasonal? Do you guys, like you mentioned Los Angeles, so like maybe we don't need so much power up here because it's summertime, we're not running air conditioners like they would be maybe down there. Is that part of why it goes to LA, or why?
Yeah, it's all in the decision making.
Uh-huh.
It's really BPA is the one that tells us, hey, we need this much power. And they don't tell us why or where it's going. They just tell us they need the power.
And you guys
we're the ones
make it happen.
that make it happen, yeah.
Okay. So in that generator room, I think you, in an earlier segment, mentioned there's like 22 generators in there. And so those are actually what the water's passing through and creating the current.
Yeah. The powerhouse, if you took off the front of the powerhouse, what everyone's looking at, what you would see is 22 what we call main generators. They start, you know, they have them numbered west to east. So
Okay.
You start 1, and then east there's 22. They are big machines. If you've never been inside one, you take a first glance and you're like, wow, it's a big thing. And what you're seeing when you go into the visitor facilities is just half of what the generator really is. It goes down,
it's way deep.
Yeah,
down.
it goes down
Okay.
another 3 or 4 floors, down to where the actual turbines are, where the water comes from the top of the dam, above the dam, down, spins the turbine, which spins the generator, which produces power. It's kind of cool to see. The Dalles is a cool place inside there as well, because, you know, we built 14 of them to start with. So there's like what they call the old powerhouse section, and then a new powerhouse section. So you can see the deadline in there. It's a pretty neat place.
Yeah. How many people does it take to maintain those things?
Out of the Dalles Dam, I mean, there's a lot of people that work there. I mean, we are probably one of the higher employers here in the area.
Okay.
You know, we support, you know, the Dalles, Goldendale, Lisle, those types of places. But it takes a lot of people. We have out there mechanics that help on the machinery part. We have electrical guys that do all the electricity and transformer work and all that kind of stuff. We have operators. Those guys are kind of the brain, I shouldn't say the brain, but the central location of the operation. Everything runs through them. They do the navlock stuff. Of course, we have to have an administrative staff, which helps us make sure we get paid on time, those type of things.
Sure.
You know, people that do nothing but purchase stuff. I mean, we get a lot of little pieces and big pieces that have to be purchased, and we have a team that does that, and we have my section that goes and deals with all the stuff outside the dam, as well as a maintenance section that I have out in the park. So there's a lot of people. There's about 100 people that work out at the Dalles Dam.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So with, you know, and I don't want to get too in depth with this, but with this emergence of wind energy, and we, you know, can see it going in all over the place, how is that affecting the dam, or is it?
Yeah, the wind things are turbines are just popping up left and right. It does have an effect on us. When the wind's blowing, the generator, the turbines produce power, and of course power, which goes on the grid. With our renewable resources, which is the water, we're able to balance that. So when the wind is blowing and the turbines are spinning on the wind generators, that's going on. We can lower ours. When the wind's not blowing, of course, we can lower or bring it back up.
Okay.
So it's a good match because we do have that renewable resource of the river.
Right.
Yeah.
So do they both feed out to the same grid that we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, they both go to the same place. They both go, you know, some go up to the Solilo substation, which is on the top of the hill above the Dalles, and then BPA sends it to wherever they need it.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, I want to talk about fish ladders when we come back, and all of the stuff that you guys have going on for fish, because you guys are very fish friendly. So we're discussing the Dalles Dam with Kelly Thomas right here on Localite. Don't go anywhere.